Hey, what's up, dudes and dudettes? Brad the Guitologist here. Been a little while since we've been at the bench, and I thought we would just kind of break the ice getting back to the bench with something unusual. This is I don't know, maybe late 50s or sometime in the 60s Funken magnetophone reel-to-reel tape recorder. It's all in German, so this is definitely for the German or European market, not for U.S. import. So I'm not sure how it got here, but here it is in the U.S. This was acquired, I think, by my parents at an estate sale. They came across a bunch of stuff a while back, a couple years ago. And it was in a barn, or a snake-riddled barn, with a bunch of other stuff that they ended up getting for me as well. Some of that stuff went straight into the dumpster because it was too far gone. But some stuff, like this, was still in okay shape and possibly contains some tubes and maybe some parts that we can use. This is not going to be for restoration. It's not that it's necessarily too far gone. It does have a big break right here on this bottom section. What I'm going to try to do is see what kind of amplifier is in this and what kind of parts are inside. Possibly we'll do something to turn this into some kind of little guitar amp or something like that. We'll just strip it apart. We do have a magic eye tube here. Before I get started though and go into this and open it up, I wanted to show you something that was sent to me a while back. This was sent by a fellow named Jerry Kirkendall. When I was working on some Fender amplifiers, he sent me this. You know, I was kind of speculating in that one of those videos about those old 50s Fenders, how hard it would be just to make the handle myself. And Jerry was good enough to actually take it upon himself to make one of these and send it along to me. He emailed me and said, hey, what are the dimensions between, you know, the holes on the existing handle? And I measured all that and told him what those measurements were, and he sent me this to the exact specifications of the handle from an old 59 Fender Champ. This will fit not just the Champ, but it'll fit several of their smaller amps, probably some other amps as well. But he has gone to great lengths here to get the number of plies correct. He had me even count the number of plies in the leather, and he has, you know, basically recreated the handle to exact specifications. And I think he did a magnificent job. So Jerry Kirkendall, thank you very much, man, for sending that. So again, sorry it took me so long. He was lickety split on it too, dude. He sent it like, I think within a week of asking me for the specs on it. He just whipped it up like it was nothing, man. So it was really impressive. But here is the here's the note he sent along. Here's the Champ 5F1 handle. Specs there if you want to read the specs. You said you thought it would wear better if it was not so thick, a little bit thinner. Yes. So he made it a little bit thinner than the original one, because the original one is so thick that it barely fits up under the hardware. And I think he made this one slightly thinner so that it would fit up under there better. So he said he made it with a A-grade tooling leather. This will not fall apart. Also hand stitched it. I have a sewing machine, but I think hand stitching looks better and it's more satisfying. May send you a couple items that I've made. Anyway, it was a fun project. Hope it works for you. Jerry, man, thank you so much for sending it. This thing is magnificently done. He did a great job on this. I just recently bought one on eBay for a different Fender. Now, that was before he sent this one. And it is one of those that has the bump in it that was made for some of the slightly larger amps. So this one I bought online, and you can see what I mean. It's like it's padded in the middle. So this is a different type. This style is on some of the larger Fender amps, and this was made by an Amish person according to the eBay listing where I bought it. And this one cost me, I think, about 50 bucks for this. And this is a high quality one as well. The one that he has made here is exceptionally high quality too. Really nice leather. So this would be for the smaller amps, and this would be for the bigger ones, but just very, very nicely done. This one's nicely done, but man, Jerry's he got the paint or the staining on the sides and everything correct, it looks like. So this is one of the cheaper ones that you can get from various resources online. I mean, it's stitched and stuff, but it's got this kind of rubber, it's rubberized. It's man-made material. It's not real leather. It would probably wear fairly well. And it is thinner than the originals, which means that it's not going to get hung up right in here and break off as easily right here. So it's probably a better wearing handle than the original handle, but it's not real leather. But this one is. But you can see the difference in quality between this and this right here. I mean, there's no comparison with the quality really between that and that. Yeah, it kind of inspires me to want to do leather working, to be honest. I've kind of been kicking around that idea for quite a while now, ever since that fella did the leather work for my Telecaster a while back. I've been wanting to get into a little bit of leather work and try my hand at it and just see how it goes. Anyway, so back to this thing. Let's go ahead and pop this back off. I think it comes either that or maybe these come off. There may be someone out there who is restoring one of these who would like to have some of these parts, and if you are that person, comment below or send me an email. My email is usually in the description of all of my videos, so but we'll see what we've got going here. So this is definitely going to be some parts in here that are salvageable. The belt is still intact. That's kind of incredible. Okay. This has got to be, let's see. So this is a record. Something's got to be out of the way for that to work. And these are those European type caps we see quite often. Those don't hold up too well in my experience. The ones that I've seen usually that are left in equipment have been bad. Looks like we might have an empty tube socket right here. So that's okay. So this thing has already been robbed of tubes. That's really unfortunate. And that was an ECC 81. That was an EF 86 right there in that one. Shit, that was an ECC 83. Somebody robbed all the Funken tubes out of it. That's not what I'd hoped to see when I open this thing up. So that's probably going to preclude me from messing with this thing much further. I may just throw this up online as is. Let somebody see if they want to restore it as is. Here's the bottom of the unit. We'll go ahead and take the back off and just see what it looks like back here. Okay, so we could see this thing was not serviced, I don't think, by anyone at any point. It pretty much looks all original in here. There's the power transformer. The power transformer has taps, and it's switchable right here for different zones. You go 110, 125, 220, 150, 140. So got a couple of fuses here. That transformer right there is probably going to be valuable to someone for some restoration or purpose, because that is a Funken transformer. It's got 6.3 volt taps, 24 volt tap, there's a 29 volt tap even, and then it's, of course, it's got all the taps for the higher voltage for the different regions. So that's probably a pretty good transformer to have for somebody. And I think this whole wafer assembly is basically all attached to that. So that's all one. See, I think this is all one piece, and it'll stay together if you were to take it out. It's really a shame. It's kind of a bummer that the tubes weren't in it. If the tubes were in it, we could have at least bodged up a power cord onto this and turned it on to see what it did. We do have an on-off switch with a potentiometer here that I'm sure somebody out there is looking for. There's just a lot of parts in here, man, that are still, I'm sure, good. All these signal capacitors, these are probably still good, a lot of these. I'm not sure what kind of other equipment they would have been put into, because I'm not real familiar with that brand. I've seen those before, but I'm not real familiar with them. And I don't know what they would have gone into. What does that say? Maybe WMA? I don't know. But this thing is full of those. But yeah, kind of a bummer about the tubes. I think I'm just going to leave it there. So we'll just call this an evaluation video for this thing. One thing that is interesting is you can see the outer coating on this capacitor right here is beginning to crack. You can see the cracks in it, and this one over here has a crack in it too, I just noticed. So I don't know how well those would have held up. I mean, they might still be good, but it's, you know, yeah, just a shame. What was this? This is a KL65TS. So I spent the last bit of 2021 on eBay and Reverb trying to find some stuff that I could put some money into, because it's year end, and wanted to try to pad my tax situation and purchase some things that I need for my channel anyway. And I ended up getting some hopefully decent microphones that we'll be using on the channel, possibly on drums, guitar cabinets, stuff like that. I searched around for just some other things that, you know, I might be able to make projects of in the future, and got a couple of things. So I got this. It's a Hammond AO35 chassis with all the tubes. I consider it quite a bargain at the price I paid, and this will become a really cool boutique amp for somebody. These have EL84 output tubes, a couple of 12AX7s or ECC83s in the preamp section. All these tubes are old RCAs. I think that first one might be a GE, I'm not sure, but you know, so you get all the tubes, you get the chassis, you get these nice big Hammond transformers when you buy one of these, and I know exactly how to make these into a killer guitar amp. The last time Gordon from Boaz was here, he said he played mine that I've already converted in the past, and he said it's, quote, the best sounding amp I've ever heard. If that tells you anything. I mean, and I happen to agree, they're really good sounding amps. But I wanted to show you this one, man. I got a second one here. So this dude who shipped the second one, look at how he shipped this. So he had these, the tubes are packaged separately in here like this, and then he had these bags filled with packing peanuts stuffed in here, which I think is a brilliant freaking idea. So instead of the packing peanuts like falling out everywhere, you know, when you open up the thing, you don't have a huge mess. You just have these, you know, 3 or 4 bags full of packing peanuts. It makes it a hell of a lot better for the person opening the package. But look at this. Look at also the way he did this. So he's actually got a second piece of cardboard down here on the bottom of this, and he has drilled little holes in through the cardboard, through the bottom of the package, and he's actually zip tied these. Now one of the zip ties broke in transit, but the other 3 held up pretty well and held this thing in here. I thought that was a really cool and brilliant idea, and one that I might use in the future if I'm ever shipping a bare chassis like this. I think that is just absolutely genius, and I really respect that. It's thinking outside the box, and I'll be stealing that idea. But again, you know, I've got all the tubes for this one as well. And for no more than I gave for these, it's kind of a no-brainer, because, you know, for what I do, for the type of business that I have, making videos on YouTube, you know, I have to pay taxes on all that stuff anyway. And, you know, any of the stuff that I buy for that purpose, you know, I can claim as a write-off. So, you know, it only makes sense at the year's end to try to look at my situation and see if it might be beneficial to put my money into a few things, especially with all of the inflation right now in the economy. It only makes sense to try to put your money into something and get it out of cash, because that cash is only going to continue to be devalued as they print more and more of it, and the government thinks that it can be all things to all people, cradle to grave. That's just not, it's not feasible. And when you have that type of political situation, the money that you have in your pocket already, or under your mattress, or in your bank, or wherever you keep your money, all of that is going to be worth less and less and less every day. So it only makes sense to put money that you have, if it's any kind of spare money, into some kind of real goods or real estate. Real estate, if you'd gotten into real estate before the whole pandemic hit, that would have been a really nice thing, because you would be paying off a mortgage that is priced in 2018 or $19 instead of $2021, where the inflation has skyrocketed. So, but that's hindsight. So, but the inflation is continuing, and with some of the proposals that they have going on right now, it's probably only going to get worse. So I certainly don't see the national debt or the situation with any of that getting any better. And, the Fed, as far as monetary policy goes, they really don't have many places to go other than 0% interest. So not very many good options. Now, they could try to raise interest rates, and, to a point where they tank the economy, they just crash everything down. And, at that point, I'm not sure how much your cash is going to be worth anyway, but I don't know. The point I'm getting at is, I got a few things, some stuff that I needed, and also really interestingly packaged. I want to show you these couple of other things too. I made a deal with a guy a little while back. He sent me a whole slew of things. I'm not going to show you all of the stuff that he sent, but he had run across this estate where this technician had passed away, and his widow was trying to get rid of a bunch of stuff. So I got a whole different setup for a second bench. Basically everything I need for a second bench, provided it all works. And we'll go through some of this stuff and see if it works. This is a B&K oscilloscope, kind of a smaller footprint. It's not a very big one. It's definitely smaller than my other scope, and will probably do the job just fine for what I would need it for. And then I've got this Heathkit tone generator, and I have not checked out any of this stuff. I don't know the state of any of it. This I got, it's full of tubes. I really haven't gone through those tubes yet, and I guess we might do that here in a minute, or maybe in another video, I'm not sure. I got this also, this Variac. This is a Variac. It's a realistic Variac. I don't know, probably from the early 60s, I would guess, just by the case. I'm going to have to do some mods to this. Now, this says output, and I'm not sure. This is probably going to be 120 volts output right here on these terminals, and this one's missing. So I'm going to have to either replace this terminal or both, or just delete them from this design, because I don't know if I will use this anyway. There are situations where I do need to pull power off of my Variac, but usually what I'll do is I'll take a cord that I already have and just plug in a cord, and then have bare wires on the end of it. So I don't know, I might delete these right here, or if I can find the knurled screw, I'll try to find that, but that's the only way I would use this, because that right there is obviously unsafe. Yeah, I don't know. This switch is kind of weird. It has a delayed effect. Watch this when I switch it. I switch and then it clicks. You hear the delay? And then this one, I don't know what's going on with this one. This one's acting more like a momentary switch. I think it's broken. So I might have to, this might be the subject of a repair video. That chassis right there, or that, excuse me, the cabinet. I got this cabinet. This was an unfinished project that the fellow had going on. There's a reverb tank there for something. Might end up going in this, I don't know, but this is kind of a Fender style cabinet. Finger jointed. That's a couple of things I've got going on at the moment. There's not a whole lot else going on. But I thought we might also go ahead and open these. I mean, obviously I have a lot of projects in the works. There's all kinds of stuff that I'm needing to get to that I haven't quite gotten to yet. But okay, let's check out the mics that I ordered. Make sure these arrived safely. So these were being sold as is samples, like something that somebody had gotten and used in a video or something, maybe like a demo sample, but they're still shrink wrapped. So I think they were lying about that so that they could sell below map. That's my guess. This is the SE Electronics VR1 ribbon microphone. These are the passive ribbon microphones. The reason I chose passive is because I have so many preamps and things around here that I could build. I mean, I could build my own preamp, truth be told, from scratch if I wanted to. So the preamp situation we're going to do something different with, but I wanted to get microphones that I could use with my own preamp and experiment with different preamps, and it just lends itself to a lot more experimentation and maybe tonal discovery. Maybe even do some videos on the subject. But okay, so this will be an actual unboxing, I suppose. I didn't expect it to be like an unboxing because I didn't expect to get a new product in shrink wrap. I kind of just expected a used product, but it's brand new. So I guess let that be a lesson to you. If somebody's selling something on eBay that's sold as a slightly used sample, maybe it's not. Got a couple stickers. I got a user manual. This is the one that I got, the VR1. This is the passive version without the inbuilt electronics. This one is the active one with the electronics built in for preamp. The reason not to get this one for me is that anything inside of here is going to be all surface mount components, and if it goes bad, I may or may not even be able to fix that or get a replacement board. And it just makes a lot more sense to have a preamp outboard of the microphone, and again, that way I can change up the preamp when I want to. I don't have to rely on whatever preamp is in here. I can make it whatever preamp I want. So that's the suspension mount. I did a lot of watching of videos. I spent a couple days watching different demos on YouTube of different ribbon microphones, because I wanted to, you know, kind of now the Rode, or excuse me, the Royer 121 is kind of sort of like the standard that's being used today. The old RCAs, like the RCA 44, is what I, you know, ideally that's what I would love to have, is like an old RCA 44, or a couple of those would be grand. But you know, obviously I can't afford a $5,000 microphone at the drop of a hat necessarily, so not not in the cards, at least not right now. But this, to me, looked like a pretty good sounding microphone at a decent price. So it comes in this kind of attractive little box. Got some desiccant in here. Really well padded foam box here. Ooh, the microphone's actually a little bit smaller than I anticipated. It's about maybe the size of my hand. So you get the little, that's the dust bag. So if you leave it on the stand, what you would want to do is put this little bag over it, and it's also going to keep the it's going to keep any strong pressure waves from messing up the ribbon. There are some ports on the side I didn't see in any of the demos, so there's a kind of an open section with a port along the side here, and it's got some mesh covering it. But I think that side is all that's all magnet anyway. This thing is heavy for for no bigger than this is. This is a heavy little microphone. So I need to get a new mixing desk as well and set up some mics for drums. So that's kind of what the suspension mount looks like with the microphone. I could put it inside for a more compact setup, I suppose, if I wanted to. Okay, so that's one of the mics. I bought a pair, so I have two of these to do like stereo overheads of drums, stereo room mics, whatever I want to do. But especially, I want to see what these sound like on guitar cabinets. That's the main thing for me. I want to try to improve the demo portions of my videos. There's so many options now for ribbon mics. There are lots of budget options. This one might be different. This one claims to be a vintage edition. Polished chrome grill, hammered finish, limited quantity. Well, I can tell already this one is in a pack. Oh, it is different. Okay. This one is different. This is the vintage version. So here's this one. You can see it's highly reflective, polished, kind of a polished chrome, and then it does have, definitely has the vintage look to it. You can see here, this looks like, you know, some of the old audio equipment from the 60s and 50s that I've had in the past. This kind of finish here. Very nice looking microphone. I definitely prefer this over the black, but I mean, not that it matters a great deal to me. This one also has like a little serial number down here. But this one has like a serial number on it visible from the outside, whereas this one does not. Oh yes, it does. This one, the serial number is printed underneath. But I definitely prefer this one, personally. Okay, so there are my new ribbon mics. Yeah, let me know below what you think, though, on these microphones. Which one do you like better? The vintage one or the black?
Dad!
Yes, sweetie. Did you spell dad on that?
Yeah.
You spelled D-A-D? Oh, good job, dude.
And look, I spelled and is a popcorn word at my school.
That's amazing.
And like the teachers teach all of our classmates that.
That's pretty cool. Hey, look, I found a legitimate use for a mask. You ready?
What, you're gonna like set the mask on fire?
I think. Or is it made of plastic? It's got too much plastic in it. So no, that won't work, will it? It's actually good for nothing.
Look, it's brown. Brown, look. And we're gonna check it.
Oh my god, that's it. Oh, do it like that. There we go.
What a green. There. That works. Yes.
Yeah,
But I still need hot cocoa for my throat.
Okay, I'll make you some hot cocoa, okay?
Okay? I'm going to watch a beautiful fire while I draw the fire, because I think parts of the fire kind of actually look good.
Excellent idea.